Hey everyone, so my name is Aaliyah. This is my 4th YouTube video. Couldn't decide what I was going to make this one on, and I figured it would kind of just I'm kind of making, because I renamed the channel The Diary of Aaliyah. I'm sorry if I keep looking like, it doesn't look like I'm looking at you, because I'm looking at me, because that's just what I'm used to doing when I make videos, yeah, I guess, because I never realized you had to look at like the actual camera, so I'm sorry. But anyway, so I renamed this channel The Diary of Aaliyah because I kind of just want it to be like what's weighing on me the most, what I want to talk about the most, that's what I'm going to talk about. And so this week I was kind of going between like 3 different things, and something that's really been on my mind a lot lately is sex trafficking and human trafficking. I mean, it's on my mind every day since I learned about it, pretty much, which was like 5 years ago, I think. Because before that, I had no idea what it was, that it was a thing, that it was happening. And I don't think we realize how many people don't know that it's a thing. And yes, in the recent years, like I'd say the past 2 years, it has been being talked about more, and I'd say especially the end of last year, beginning of this year. But it's like people hear about it, they think it's sad, and then they don't do anything because they think, oh, well, what am I going to do? Besides, they're going to take my money or whatever. Like, I have to donate my money so that they can. And the reason why, like, the whole money thing, yeah, donating your money really does help, because a lot of times the girls that are being rescued, the people that are rescuing them have to pay the traffickers to get them. They have to pay for them, just like if they were going to have sex with them, they would have to pay for them. So they pay for them to make it look like they're traffickers too, that they're sex buyers, that they're just going to buy these girls, and then they actually end up rescuing them. That's what your money is going to a lot of the time. Or it's going to that girl getting counseling. Because if you just, well, it could be a boy too, a girl, boy, woman, whatever. If you just rescue them, then what? Like, the trauma that they have because of what they went through, they're going to have forever, regardless of if they're getting help every day. But it's so much better when they get help every day, because if they don't have help, if they don't have counseling, if they don't have people to help them out, then, like, it's the only thing they know. It's all they think they're worth, so they go back to it, So that's, what your money is going to really help them. But anyway, so I don't think people realize that even just learning about it helps so much. Like, you might learn just enough about it to realize maybe somebody you know is being trafficked. Or maybe one day you'll meet somebody who you think is being trafficked, and you can call a number, text a number, send an email to, an organization or something, or even just reach out to that person, which sometimes could be really, really, really scary for them. So awareness is a great thing. And if you think, well, it's not really doing anything, it is. Educating, everybody needs to be educated on it, because the more people that are educated, the more that people can help, the more that some people maybe will go from not wanting to help to actually, starting an organization or just donating money, or, going and helping in the efforts to rescue people and restore people. Restoring is so important. Otherwise, you've helped that person out of the physical place that they were at, but in their mind, they're still there. So, and then I just wanted to say that, because I've been hearing this so much lately, just with what I've been, the content I've been taking in, is that trafficking doesn't look like girls in chains and, starving, like bound up and locked in a cage and stuff like that. It does look like that in some circumstances. Those are very different circumstances, though. Like in the United States, that's most likely not the kind of sex trafficking you're going to see. And I was just listening to an Exodus Cry podcast, EXODUS Cry podcast. Exodus Cry is an organization against human trafficking. And they did a podcast with Rebecca Bender. And she said that Polaris, another anti-trafficking organization, has put out a list, the 25 different ways that human trafficking exists in this world. So that's one way. The bound in chains and cages, that's one way. And most likely, it's not a bunch of girls chained up in a cage. It's probably that girl did something wrong, so now she's going to get chained up in a cage until she's, complying again. Like, it happens in so many different ways. And I've always been afraid to speak on it just because I think, well, I don't know everything about it. Somebody could tell me that I'm wrong. That's okay, because if they tell me that I'm wrong, then now I know that I was wrong, and now I'll know, what's right. And the more I go on, the more I live, the more I'll learn about it, the more I'll be able to help, the more I'll be able to educate other people. So anyway, that's why I'm speaking on it today. So the most common way that you will probably see people being trafficked in the United States is it's going to involve a lot of, what am I trying to say, technology, phones, computers. I think we all know about, I think it was Backpage.com or something like that, where they were selling a bunch of girls, and I believe that got shut down 2 years ago maybe. I think 3 is pushing it. That finally got shut down, but that is 100% not the only website out there where people are selling girls. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah. So the kind of sex trafficking you will see in the United States is more like a 25-year-old, 30-year-old messaging a 12-year-old or something on some random stupid app that we shouldn't let 12-year-olds have, that has a messaging system that maybe it shouldn't have. And, they're messaging them, telling them, I love you, I'll treat you right. Maybe they're sending them presents. They're, telling them that they're the love of their life. Like, this older man preying on this younger girl. That's the one of the most likely ways you'll see it is through text messaging and different apps like that. The guy is just misleading completely this girl who is vulnerable, who doesn't know the signs of trafficking, who has maybe never had somebody tell her that they love her. And so now here's this 30-year-old saying, I love you. And that's the first time they've ever felt like that. And so they're really being brainwashed. And that's why you're like, well, the girls could just leave themselves. They're brainwashed. They don't think they can leave. Maybe a lot of the times they don't want to leave because they think, well, this person loves me, I'm going to leave them, and then who's going to love me? I mean, I will love you. Like, me, I will, but I'm sure many of you out there feel the same way. Like, you will find somebody that loves you the right way. But anyway, and I myself used to think, well, that girl's dumb, but it's like, I'm so far from being brainwashed because I was lucky enough to have a mother that talked to me about all that stuff in age-appropriate ways, at every stage of my childhood. So, but now I know, like, if I hadn't had her, I totally would have been vulnerable to all of that. So I'm just very grateful to God for my mother. She is amazing. But anyway, another way is I also had the honor of hearing a lady called Lexi Lavallee. She spoke at the same conference. She was, I believe, the last speaker. And the way she was trafficked is that, she spent so much time at her grandma's house. I think it was just down the road or something from her mom's house, a block away in Chicago. And, her grandma liked helping out troubled youth. She was helping out the wrong troubled youth. And that man, took advantage of Lexi. Because the grandmother didn't really pay attention to what the two would do together. And so then he would start texting Lexi, and you tell her, okay, I have somebody coming at this time. Tell your parents you're just riding around the block. Come meet me here at your, grandma's, I think, or something. No, I don't know. I don't know all the details of the story, but so then, that's how he would sell her to different men, and how he got her to stay and got her to keep coming back and got her to not tell anybody was that he said to her, if you tell anybody, I'm going to make your sister do this too, her little sister. And she thought she was protecting her little sister by not telling anybody what was happening to her. And once again, learning about that, my first thought is, well, she's stupid. She should have just told. No, she's not stupid. She really thought that she was protecting her sister. The only reason that is the thought that popped into my head is because, once again, I had a mom who told me, if somebody's telling you stuff like that, like they're going to hurt you, they're going to hurt some member of your family, they're going to kill us or whatever, don't believe them, always tell me. Those are the words she really said to me. Don't believe them, always tell me. And some parents think, oh, that's going too far if you tell kids like stuff like that. Obviously, it's not. Because there are more than 1 million, and I know that number is an old number because I heard that number a year ago, 2 years ago, so that number is definitely higher now because it's the fastest growing criminal industry in the entire world. There are more than 1 million victims, like currently being trafficked right now, it is absolutely crazy. And every day that I can wake up in safety next to my husband, I thank God, because I could be waking up, in a tiny room with a bunch of other girls, knowing that night I'm going to get trafficked again. No, thank you. I'm so grateful for the life I have. I really am. So that's more the kind of trafficking that you would see in the USA. Also, Rebecca Bender, the one I was talking about before in the podcast, she was trafficked in Las Vegas, Nevada. Prostitution is not legal in Nevada. Rebecca said there was like one county or this one town where prostitution is legal, and it's like 2 hours, the town is 2 hours away or something from Las Vegas, and they only have it legal in that one place so that they can control it, which you can't control organized crime. And that's coming from the mayor of Amsterdam or whatever? Those are the words that he said, you can't control organized crime. That's why he shut down half of the legal sex trafficking industry there. Yeah, so she was being trafficked in Nevada, and it was an escort service, Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was her boyfriend. She really thought she had met the love of her life. She had been with him for 6 months in Oregon. Then he said, my job relocated me to Las Vegas, Nevada. Will you come with me? She said yes. They had a kid together already, and they went to Las Vegas, Nevada. First night that she was there, he told her she needed to get dressed up because you are going to be an escort tonight. I'm sure she tried to say no because she said that he physically slapped her that night. And then from that point on, she was being sex trafficked. So an escort service, girls can be trafficked for that. Just because you think, oh, it's an escort service. No, they can be trafficked through that too. Like, it's when you try to make buying sex legal, that is what leads to all these problems. And I know people really hate that. They don't like that fact, but it's truly a fact. Like, I'd have to do a whole different video on how one always leads to the other, and I hopefully will be able to do that someday. But if you want to learn more about that, go to Exodus Cry, it's like .com or .org. Go to RebeccaBenderInitiative.org or whatever. Go to DestinyRescue.org. Go to, there's so many places you can find this information. And there's another thing. Girls are trafficked into pornography. So if you think, oh, I'm just going to watch pornography, the girls want to do that, you never know. It could be a girl that's just in pornography. Could be a girl that was trafficked into pornography. So if you're paying for it, sadly, yeah, you are contributing to sex trafficking. And that's not something I say to be accusatory. That's a fact. If you are paying for anything like that, it's contributing to the sex trafficking industry. And I'm glad that I know that so that I can tell other people that, because I know that's the last thing anybody would want to contribute to. Another thing that I want to say that I think I'll save that for another video. But I just wanted to just give you some basic information on sex trafficking and what it really looks like in America. I'll give you some other facts I learned from the nefarious movie that Exodus Cry made. Benjamin Nolot. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's Benjamin Nolot. He's the founder of Exodus Cry. He made this documentary. It was years of work went into it. And, they went to Thailand, Cambodia, Eastern Europe. And Eastern Europe is by far the population is the most sex trafficked. 10% of Eastern European families, or 10% of Eastern Europeans have been trafficked, I believe, or are being trafficked. And then, but you can watch the video if I'm off. I believe that's what I heard. And then, the statistic for how many people, I can't remember if it was Thailand or Cambodia, but for how many people are trafficked in that country, was 40 to 50%, which half of a population being trafficked, that in and of itself is disgusting. They went to these countries, Thailand and Cambodia, and they estimate that it's actually 80 to 90% of that population is being trafficked, because they blame it on poverty. But when they went to that country, they saw a lot of families that were trafficking their children. They were not in poverty. It's just a way to make money there. It's a way that their family can make money without themselves being hurt, just their daughters being hurt. It upsets me so much. I think we can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens us. But I know that, maybe you're watching this video and you are not a believer. That's fine too. You don't have to be a believer to be anti-trafficking. You don't have to be a believer to help out with trafficking. Obviously, more of the organizations that I follow are Christ-based, just because I love seeing how victims can go from thinking nobody loves me, nobody likes me, everybody hates me, to knowing that God loves them and never wanted them to be in that position, never wanted them to go through that, and he was always with them. He never left them. I love when they can realize that. And watching Nefarious at the end, I almost started crying, because these two girls, they were talking about how they had met Jesus, in their worst times in trafficking, and how that really helped them get out. And that's just that's what I want to do. That's what I want my career to be, is helping women in any way I can in the sex trafficking industry and, in general. So if you watch this all the way, thank you so much. And I hope I taught you something. This video was just supposed to be informative. Once again, the PMDD is making it really hard for me to focus. But I'm just glad that I was able to talk to you today. So thank you. And I hope this makes you think. Maybe you'll share it with some people. Have a good rest of your day.